Diversity is a major thing that we faced in the past and is still a major thing that we face in the future. Now, the I Racist article by John Mehta illustrates his point of view and how his white aunt is portrayed in her case of diversity versus his sister, who is black. Now, there's a line here, it says, the only difference between people in the North and people in the South is that down here at least people are honest about being racist. And that's pretty huge. I mean, a lot of people are, especially nowadays, saying, oh, I'm not racist, you just took that the wrong way, or just trying to defend themselves even though everyone is in fact racist one way or another, whether we want to admit it or not. I know that in the past, I hate to say it, but there have been a few times where not racial slurs, but like little racial things have come out of my mouth, and me not realizing, being superior, not realizing that that could harm somebody. Although I do try my best to filter every day on who I'm talking to, what I say, the conversation, it comes at everyone. No one can say they're 100% like fine, like they're not racist, they're totally like for diversity, which everyone should be for diversity, but not everyone is. So it starts out by saying how his aunt lives in New York, and New York is one of the most segregated states in the country when he was younger, and so is Chicago. Now, when she moved his aunt, she moved when, like, to a better area, which is better schools for whites. Now, him being of black origin and his sister, he saw that as her being racist. But his aunt didn't think that. She just wanted to get away and be fine. When in fact that is racism, because you move from one area that you've lived in pretty much all your life to another one just because you don't like the area. Now, he says a lot that he doesn't talk about race with white people, or anyone really in general. And he kind of hates himself for that. He adds at the end, he's like, I want to stop my silence. Like, this is ridiculous. I should have stepped up a long time ago, and now I'm realizing it's never too late to start, but it's a little too late to get the progress that I've wanted. And he talks about in the article how whites center themselves around, like, defending themselves. When we're seen as racist, we're like, no, we're not racist. That's not how it is. There's a few lines in the book, actually, that state the difference between, like, white people and black people when it comes to certain things. A white person smoking pot is considered a hippie. They're not considered a criminal or anything, whereas a black person is considered a criminal. And that is it's a very stereotypical theme, and that's not correct. That should not be how it is in society, and that still is today. Now, there's a line in here. It says, black and Muslims are killers and terrorists and thugs. Why are white shooters called mentally ill? People who commit crimes, whether they be mentally ill or not, are still criminals. And the fact that we put a label on anyone else but ourselves is a huge, huge no. Everyone here is of equal, or should be treated as of equal, and this is not how being treated equal is. Now, he says it, like I said earlier, that he wants to quit his silence. Racism exists because I, not you, am silent. He could have chose to spoke up a long time ago. And another line, but I'm caught in the perfect catch-22, because when I start pointing out racism, I become the angry black person, and the discussion shuts down again, so I'm stuck. So every time he wants to try to voice his opinion, it always gets slammed back in his face because others are always looking for a way to turn it against him because he is the minority, and that's not fair. That's not how it goes. Now, relating in all equality to the other article, Clyde Ross talks about all of his losses. They never really blame the white people, but he just says it's another one of my losses, another one. He lost his horse, lost many other things, and he just says it was one of my losses. he took it with a grain of salt, and he should have honestly, in my opinion, taken it more than just with a grain of salt, because he lost so much and had to do so much to get where he was that he didn't fight enough. Let's see here. So when Ross was younger, his family ended up losing their land and had become sharecroppers. And that didn't go well for them, just because white people thought they could take over, and that's not how it should work. But back in the day, that's how it did work. So black people were viewed as contagion. So when it came for time for a black person to buy a house, it meant that wherever they were at, if there were any white folk around, let's say black person lives here, white person lives here, the white person's house would considerably go down a dollar amount just because they were neighbored next to a person of color. And that is very, very racist, especially on the government's part, that no one's wealth or benefit should have to come to just because you're neighbors with somebody. And I'm not blaming the black people that moved into that house, because they have every right to be there if they wanted to. It's the fact that the big-headed people of the government decided, well, only white people are going to live next to white people if they can afford wealth. So if you live next to someone, it's your fault. That's kind of how they said it. It's kind of how it works, which is not good. So overall, diversity is still a huge factor in today's society. Every day we're going through one thing or another. When it's black man shoots so-and-so, well, crazed, mentally ill white man shoots someone. We're still going through things like that. It's the way things are portrayed that makes everything still diverse. If people were able to see how it really is in life and actually take things without the grain of salt and take things also for granted, I feel like we'd be better off in society and be more equals, even though our laws aren't equal for even anybody. Like a white female is still not equal enough to a man, especially people of color. They're not equal up to anyone. It's our privilege that we have, that we're born this way, but that should be a privilege for all, because we all do live on the earth together, and we have to do something about this. So overall, I agree with the article in the book saying that he should speak up and that racism is still a thing, and it is. No one's perfect. Racial things, whether you like it or not, have come out of your mouth, even if you hate to admit it. I know I hate to admit it, but it's true. We're all at fault here. There's nothing no one can do but just get better as a society. So, in that note, thank you.